Is anyone listening? Why are the sexually abused victimized when they break their silence? I want you to be able to put this face to sexual abuse. Because for over 3 decades in my life, I had to hide behind the veil of shame, fear, and what anyone or people would have to say. From the age of 10, in the country of Nigeria, I was sexually abused by my own guardian, my maternal uncle, who was supposed to be raising me up, who was supposed to be a father figure, who was supposed to protect me, who was supposed to nurture me. But however, the nurturing was more sexual. That was his focus. I have his picture up there to show his face because I'm trying to put his face to what he has done to me. It took me almost 3 decades to confront this matter. I called him on the phone, and I have documentation, I have evidence to prove what I'm saying. I'm not just out here recording anything for the sake of recording. And this is not a made-up story. I have evidence that can prove what I'm just talking about, because I had to document it over a period of time before I confronted this man. So ask him a simple question: why did you do it? The response, of course, what does he have to care? In Nigeria, we have a country, or we have laws that are literally not followed. We have laws that are disregarded, that they are not honored by anyone. So sexual abuse goes on, is very prevalent over there. Who would speak? Who would talk? Because the culture of silence tells you to zip it up. Don't say anything. And then it makes me to wonder when in court we say it takes a village to raise a child. Now I begin to wonder as an adult, what village does it take to raise a child? What children are we raising? Children that are going through sexual abuse behind the walls of their homes and are becoming tyrants in school and are acting out in school, and nobody seems to want to put a hand to address the main issues. So now, why am I doing this at this time? I'm saying to us in this country, and I thank God for the nation of America. I thank God that brought me to this country, because this is a country that gave me my voice. This is a country that made me who I am today. As an educator, I'm very proud of what I have achieved as a mother and as a one-time child who is now a grown-up adult. The very first time I heard about sexual abuse was in this country. Before then, I have traveled extensively. Not even in any forum have I heard the word sexual abuse. And I thought, hey, it's enough. You keep your silence, you shove it up, don't say anything. Until I heard Oprah. My first encounter knowing that it is okay to speak about sexual abuse was on Oprah Winfrey's show in the United States of America. And this almost 20 years ago. And I sat there as I wept, and as I listened to this woman interview different people that came forth to discuss their abuse. And after all this while, I was like, finally, somebody, it's okay. So I'm not crazy after all. I don't have a right to feel ashamed or to feel fear or to be intimidated, because I was only a child that needed to be raised up by somebody who was supposed to be my father. In the absence of my own father, he was supposed to play the role of a father, but what role did he play? It was like a daily sexual escapade, because he had me for a mistress as opposed to a little niece of his. And now I had to bring this matter up to get us to know, do not be ashamed. I'm speaking to you out there if you're a victim. Do not be ashamed to come forward. Recently, we had a bombshell in the country again. Thank God for Oprah, who came up with a show involving Mackenzie Phillip, the lady that came out to begin to disclose the impact, the sins of the father. That show, it was like another open window to the nightmare of sexual abuse. And you had this woman talk, and you had her open her heart. As I watched, as I sat, and I was so engrossed, just listening, watching her eyes more than anything. What she was saying was less important to me. I was watching her eyes. I was looking right into her eyes, like I could see through her soul, because I know exactly what this lady was talking about. And I saw Raina when Raina came forth. What she was talking was less important to me. I was looking through her eyes, because it's almost like looking through her soul to say, you know what? Thank you, ladies, for coming forth to say what you're saying. Thank you that you've given yourself the freedom, because it starts with you. You've given yourself the courage, your own personal courage, to come out and say, and decry this mess. But however, it becomes very sad when I begin to read the comments. Oh, Mackenzie is doing it because she wants to sell her books. Oh, she's lying because she made it up. And now the question I begin to ponder about this question. Why are the sexually abused victimized when they break their silence? Are we not supposed to break our silence? Are we supposed to perish behind the doors of the walls of our houses And then we wonder why children are so violent today. And then we wonder when we watch the TV and you see kids brutalizing each other. You wonder when the news will come forth and show kids attacking each other in the bus. We watch several times how parents are on the front in the news screaming out, "Where are the parents of these children? They just shot my child." We wonder why all this is coming out. You know why? Because these parents that we are pointing at that ought to be raising their children have been brutalized all their life. Have we taken time to figure that out? To ask them, how can you be a good parent? How are you able to parent when you are scarred? When you're dealing with stuff that you have not been able to speak to anybody about? And then we have children running wild in the country. We have teachers in crisis in schools trying to teach but can't get through to kids because of rage. I'd like to read a fact sheet here for you, which is right up on the board. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear a child molestation case. This was dated as far back as December 7, 2003. But the thing that was interesting here is the factors they gave. In their words, is that the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry estimates 80,000 incidents of childhood sexual abuse are reported each year, and a greater number go unreported. And they go for people who haven't lived with the horrors of child molestation may find it very difficult to understand why someone will wait 20 to 30 years before reporting the crimes to authorities. Victims have stayed silent for many reasons, often a combination of factors. What factors do they give? Number one, they are told not to tell. Number two, they don't know they can get help. Number three, they are afraid they will not be believed. Number four, they assume the shame for themselves. Number five, they repress or disassociate. Number six, they transcend the abuse. What does that mean? It becomes that now, what is said, now they become abusers of self. They turn it, inward. They begin to abuse themselves through drugs, through alcohol, through whatever you name it out there, which happens to be what we see that is prevalent today. They are embarrassed to come forward. They are prohibited from reporting by outdated statute of limitations law. This is not my words. This is the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. This is a well laid out facts. Now, if we know those facts that says there's a common thread, their fact sheet really you can trade it through all of this different articles in here about people who are going through the same.